I love it.
There was, I think it was something in IndieWire or Slate or something that loves the show, but threw a common criticism about Lynch and said, hang on, Adam just sent me a message, and said, we love the show, but you got to lay off the violence against women, which has always been a criticism of Lynch. It was Roger Ebert's major criticism of Lynch. He always said, look, Lynch is a major filmmaker, but I don't like the fact that he shows these scenes of such intense abuse against women, and then he takes on this jokey attitude, like, oh, it's just, that kind of shaves the tension off of it. That was his problem with Lynch. But what are you guys' take on that element of his work?
Well, I definitely noticed it. I mean, I was definitely sitting there, boy, the women are getting the tough end of the stick here on this show. Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally offended by it. I'm fine with it. I think that there's a long tradition of putting women in peril, sometimes fatal peril, in noir movies. Of course, there's a long tradition of females in noir movies being very tough and surviving to the end. So I don't know. I have kind of mixed feelings about it. It was jarring to see. There's 5 or 6 violent endings to women. I don't mean to laugh about it, but it's just part of for me, it's just part of David Lynch. It's I can't make any apologies for him or anything. It's there, and it is what it
look,
is.
His tagline for Inland Empire, what was it, a woman in danger, a woman in trouble or something? I mean, let's not forget, you look, and he does write great parts of women, but it is part of the story. It's not like he's endorsing this. It's not like and I think we got to really, this is what I cannot stand when people start doing this. No, this is part of the story. It's not like Mr. Lynch is saying it's okay to brutalize women. Far from it. So I really have to, I do sometimes wonder if we have become a nation of fucking pussies. I really do. When I read shit like that, it's very upsetting. Because it's just too sensitive. You're giving fuel to the enemy when you start writing things like that. Mr. Lynch anyone who has studied David Lynch knows that he is not advocating any of this stuff. It's part of the story. It is make-believe. Let's try to get that through our heads. Really.
And let's just say this. In horror movies, who's always in peril? Women. They're always in peril. They're always running away. It's always women that are doing it. I mean, let's face it. Women in the world, at the hands of evil, women are usually the victims, generally.
Trust me. I'm sorry. I ignore shit like that.
And these are acts that are obviously pure evil. Yeah. That are happening. So I think that some of them are happening against women. Just underlies that evil, It's like, so I dismiss it. I just dismiss it completely. But I did notice it, and I knew that it would be. I knew that it would be controversial for a lot of people who can't stand having their buttons pushed these days. They just can't stand it. And I'm sorry. I agree, Jerry. They all need to. Sorry, but they need to man up. I'm sorry.
Just chill out. I mean, really. I'm really getting sick of it.
And the bottom line is that, just like you said, he does give great roles to women. And Isabella Rossellini in Blue Velvet is one of the, you could say that she's very much a victim of sexual abuse and domination and that sort of thing.
Right.
And that actually makes her a lot more interesting as a character. I mean, she's a very specific character. She's not just, insert woman here so we can beat her up.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. So I mean, it's a
Lula.
I can
Lula is a terrific character. Laura Palmer herself is a lot like the Isabella Rossellini character. For me, Laura Palmer is the ultimate little girl lost, and you feel how much empathy Lynch has for her. If you watch that premiere episode from 1990 or Fire Walk with Me, it's obvious. And Lula in Wild at Heart is a strong, empowered woman, not afraid of her sexuality or her love for a sailor. And then, of course, you have Mulholland Drive, which is entirely driven by women. So, I mean, from that criticism against someone with the worst track record,
Absolutely.
because Lynch has a great one.
Yep.